Hello, Karen here. Soul Symbols here to give you a tarot reading. And today we are in the dark moon period up until the 17th, where there is a solar eclipse in Aquarius. That's happening on the 17th, 18th, depending where you are in the world. Now, this dark moon is for the Capricorn New Moon, so it's the first new moon of 2026. So it's a kind of wrapping up of the old story, and the eclipse is a reset. So I'm going to have a look at all that and see what is happening. I'm going to do a spread here, proper spread. And what I'll do is speed this up as I lay out the spread, okay? Otherwise it's going to take forever. Okay, so spread done. We're going to have a look at it now. Mm, use it for reflection, what you need to drop, burn up in the fire, whatever way, or let it blow off to the wind, whatever way you want to do it, okay? But it is a dark moon read, and this is a big dark moon because of the new moon, the first one of 2026, and the fact that we're on a reset. It's a fated reset for us, okay? So let's have a look what's going on. I'm going to turn all the top ones over so I can look at the whole spread. Okay. So for our first cards, this is in the position of the present situation, okay? It's Queen of Wands. I'm reading for the collective. If it applies to you personally, okay, apply it to you, but it is a collective read. And I think we need to look collectively because this eclipse coming up is Aquarius. It is the group, the collective, okay? And what the challenge is, that sense of what's crossing you, crossing the collective, is the sun. Okay, so I know exactly how I'm going to read this. This is about this one, the Queen of Wands. We're talking about our innate power, our fire, our passion, the way we nurture our creativity, our passions, our vision. What's crossing us is the sun. In astrology, the sun. In tarot, it's a beautiful card. But this is coming up as crossing us. In astrology, in the mundane, this is about leadership. So I'm not surprised to see the sun in the position of challenge, okay? It's also about our identity. So perhaps our identities are being challenged by what is going on in the world today. And we have all those massive releases of the files in America that is showing a level of darkness and a level of corruption that we couldn't have begun to imagine. Well, not all of us. So That's an interesting start. I'll look a bit later on at the kind of the archetypes that are there for us. So what's at the root here? What have we got at the root? We've got the Six of Swords, okay? So at the root of what is going on now collectively is movement, moving on. Notice he's on a crow. He, she is sat on the crow. Okay, so the crow is very mystical. The crow can be to do with death, decay. Okay, so it's an endings. It's the moving beyond the endings. It's the moving outward across the seas into calmer waters. So this is beautiful. So perhaps we can collectively find our vision, find our, our collective vision of how we want the world to be, how we see the world. I'm going to pull now these two under to get some more. So the Queen of Wands, we have the King of Wands. That's pretty incredible. Okay. So Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. So this is a rebalancing. This is the present situation. This is what is happening to us. So it's those polarities. That's the masculine and feminine of fire. Okay. So as a collective, we are being reset. There is a rebalancing of the masculine and the feminine. When we go through any alchemical process, and this is particularly a collective alchemical process, we're going to get a mess. We're going to get lightning strikes. We're going to get poison. We're going to get burn. We're going to get, it's difficult. It's not an easy thing for us. So for us, it's about balancing within the fire within. Okay. Really a necessary thing for us to do right now as a collective. It's about us having a vision of us being interconnected, being one. Resolving our differences, resolving the things that bring us into conflict. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the sun. What's crossing us? What the challenge is? Okay, and I mentioned the sun represents kings, leadership. All right, and maybe for a part our identity. So the 10 of Pentacles, it's the legacy card. So this is collectively. This is looking at the collective legacy. And where our identity has been in that. Whose legacy is that? Also with the 10 of Pentacles. Is that a 10 of Pentacles? 3, 6, 9. There's only 9 there, but it's got the 10 there. Also with the 10 of Pentacles, it's the last card in the minor arcana. Okay. And the only way from the 10 of Pentacles is into spirit. It is, if you get the tree of life, the Quabella tree of life, okay, it is the lowest point on the tree, and the only way is back up the tree. It's to raise the spark, raise the fire there. So there's what you see in spirit. Yeah, there's just this real sense that we need to rebalance on an individual level. We need to look at the identity and the narratives that we've been conditioned by maybe over our lifetimes. Okay. And then we need to be able to renegotiate our sense of collective. Okay. So what's underneath the situation we were saying about that moving on? And we have the 8 of Swords. Okay. So that 8 of Swords, there's a chrysalis there. I had something the other day about a chrysalis in a reading. I think it was in an astrology reading. But the chrysalis, when it's in the cocoon like this, okay, it's actually as it emerges, it can't fly, okay? And if you think about that Eight of Swords in the Rider-Waite, it's that card of the woman loosely tied but kind and blindfolded, okay? So again, we're looking at moving on from this. We're looking at freeing ourselves up. We have been held down. We have been propagandized. We been conditioned to be certain ways. We need this to move out of this, to get all that yuck out of our wings, to be able to fly. I mean, it's interesting, this to this. That's at the foundation. And we're talking collectively. But as I say, apply it to yourself. Apply it to, I'm getting mixed up with the cards because I'm reading at an angle. Apply it to yourself as you want. Look, and then we have the Ace of Wands here, okay? And this is the recent past. So collectively, we have had this offer to transform. We've got the butterfly there now, we've got the phoenix, okay? So it's that sense of metamorphosis, transformation. This is on a collective level, okay? It's rising up from the ashes, whatever that is, okay? Yeah. And that is how we've been, that 10 of Wands, we have been burdened. We have been collectively burdened with the stories. We are collectively burdened at the moment, but the stories that people wondered, that was called conspiracy, and people wondered whether was going on. We've got proof now what has been going on behind the scenes, the corruption and this real darkness, okay? So this is the recent past, and I think it's that all these files that have come out, and we know what's going on in the world in terms of lack of justice, lack of equity, the wars, the corruption, the big gap between the rich and the poor. We know this is this dark moon. We are having a massive reset at this eclipse, and it's a collective reset for us, okay? So let's have a look at the immediate future. Justice. Look, people, justice. There's justice coming. Yeah. And the devil. And I don't read the devil normally as the devil, you know, that in light of this reading, I think we are talking about the darkness here. It's also, the devil represents, the card represents Capricorn, and Capricorn is very much about the institutions, the hierarchy, the leadership, the institutions. There's justice coming, people. Where there's been injustice, where there's been abuse, where there has been corruption, there will be justice. And we are programmed to think we will never have justice. Those people will never come to justice. We're entering cosmically, astrologically, but more important, spiritually, a brand new era. And this eclipse is the start of it. We have had massive build-ups, but this is a massive reset. There are huge things on the horizon, and it will be interesting, you know, in a few years to look back and see exactly what happened. But the cards are saying here, for that darkness, for that, if we look at the devil as that kind of the darkness without the light, really, here, there's justice. And I expect we've all been profoundly affected by what's come out. And it's interesting, this justice card. It's a young woman. A young woman with a, you know, a look in her, she's got that set look in her eyes in terms of what she wants going forward. It's a very clear reading, people. It really is. If you've been weighed down, completely weighed down by what has been disclosed, know that one, it was astrologically going to happen. It was written in the stars. Okay. But also know that things are going to ease here. There's movement on from that entanglement. There's metamorphoses you know, what people have been longing for. This is spiritual metamorphosis from that burden, from that darkness. Our time in the darkness, we've often been doing our own spiritual work, okay? And that is now coming to fruition. It's coming to fruition, and it's starting with justice for, call it evil, call it darkness, call it whatever you like. But that's what's coming. There's a balancing of the scales, put it that way, complete balancing of the scales here. So we're going to look at the collective thoughts and feelings. Okay. Yeah. We've got the Seven of Swords here. Okay. Seven of Swords can be a level of deceit, but it can also be strategy. And with this Mother of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, we need a strategy as a collective for nurturing back the things that have been damaged in the world, whether it be nature, whether it be children, whether it be the people, whatever it is. There's a sense of nurture in our thoughts. That is the collective's intention, to love, to care for, to, you know, be in awe of our land. There's a gentleness in this Queen of Pentacles. She nurtures the land. She reminds me a lot of the Empress. She's not the Empress, but she's got that same kind of energy as the Empress has. And that with this, we need strategy going forward as we reset, and it will take some time to unfold. We need to get active in how we are going to rebuild, how we are going to envision a world that nurtures the vulnerable, takes care of the vulnerable. The vulnerable are so not taken care of now. That is a huge kind of imprint on the world. This is dark moon. It's dark moon. It's you know, it's when the dark goddess brings her messages. Really, she does. So it's a tough one. It's tough. But I've purposely done this reading on the collective, on what is happening in the collective, because I felt so led to do that. Because I felt, you know, the dark goddess is wanting to bring that nurture. There's a destruction, and yeah, the dark goddess is that destructive energy. It's that atrophy. It's things breaking down. It's things falling apart. But these are our thoughts. This is an acknowledgement of our thoughts that we want to nurture. We want to bring care, look after the beautiful nature we have, all the sentient beings, whether they be plants, animals, or people. We're strategizing. And if you look at this card, we are strategizing in the dark. People have been strategizing for a long time, envisioning the world they want and how to get there. And that is going to really come out during this time. I'm going to put those like that. Can we see those people? This is coming now to the thoughts of those in power. Okay. Yeah, the Chariot, the Ace of Cups. So there's a sense here, maybe some of them are moving more towards this, you know, this offer of a cup for the people. Maybe they are looking at how we can move on from this, how we can, how we can move on, how we can move forward with it. Or maybe this is them being offered that cup. I think what comes into mind is the cup that was offered that often doesn't want to be taken, okay? And that movement onwards, again, we have the movement there. That was for the collective. This is them. Maybe they are moving on and moving out of where they're at. This is the card for Cancer, okay? So it is about nurture. It's about that nurture. So maybe the nurture is going to overcome the machinations of those in leadership who are, I mean, this is clear, who are bringing about darkness. Maybe that is the justice, that they will be flown away, because in the Chariot, they are the original Chariot card. The Sphinxes are moving without reins, okay? So there's that sense of, and there's a sense of alchemy in it, that there needs to be a rebalance there. There needs to be something rebalanced in the whole thing for them. They need to rebalance themselves, I think. So what are the hopes and fears of the collective? Ten of Pentacles, which is interesting. What did we get the Ten of Pentacles for before? So Ten of Pentacles. I can't see it. We had a Ten of Pentacles, I swear we did. Oh yeah, it's here. What's challenging? Okay. So this is our hopes and fears. Ten of Pentacles. Look at that card, people. That's what we're wanting. Okay, we got the Mother of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. We want that connection. We want that balance between the masculine and feminine. We want to look, this looks like quite an old hand. We want to look after those who are vulnerable, those who need more support. Yeah, and then the Queen of Wands. We've had a lot of fire here. We want a new vision. She's nesting with her eggs, okay? And their eggs of vision, their new vision, their new passion, new hope. Okay. So that is our hopes are high as the collective, people. I'm going to first read this. What's the message from our higher self? The Star. Okay. And the Knight of Pentacles. The Star is the equivalent of Aquarius. So we're being pointed towards this eclipse. We've had masses happening. The Son of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, is that slow, steady movement. So we're being advised to move with, you know, the sense of knowing what we want to build. We've got our hopes here. That card is so alchemical, the Star, but we've got our hopes. This for me is the as above, so below. It is time now. It's Aquarius. It's time. It's time for us to rebuild, Spirit is saying. And we need to build with thought, with care, which is in the collective's heart to do. Okay. So keep building whatever you are building. Keep building, people. Keep building with hope in your heart there. Okay. Potential outcome we have. Page of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. So we can be in a learning phase, Four of Cups. We can also be in a refusal. Okay, that's the Four of Cups in the Rider-Waite, is the guy refusing the cup. Page of Pentacles, we've got a lot of Pentacles and a lot of Wands. This could be our emotional state. I think a lot of us are emotionally drained, particularly over the last few years with what's been going on in the world. It's broken our hearts. It's torn our souls to a large degree. And the Page of Pentacles is that relearning to build, having that youthful energy to begin again, to start to build our material world, to bring back what has been damaged, what has been ravaged, to look after those who have been hurt here. I'm going to pull us. It's very heavy, But we need to really tap into this collective energy, because even if we're working on our own inner work, we're like this lamp. We're all these little pieces, and we're shining a collective light. So we need to look at the collective and what's going on in there. Whatever work you're doing, your magic, your shamanic work, your healing work, your energy work, your tarot, your whatever you're doing, even if you're not even if, as though it's less, but whatever you're doing, mothering, working out in the world, we need to rebuild individually, and we need to have an eye on what's happening collectively, because we're all interconnected. And even here with what I said, about that evil, that those who do the darkest deeds, we are still interconnected with them. And there's lessons there for us all to learn, lessons for us to learn, nothing's ever wasted there. So I'm going to shuffle these. So Spirit, what archetype do you want us to pay attention to as we move on after this reset? The offering. The offering. We have ourselves to offer. Okay. We have ourselves to offer. I'm going to have a look in the book at what it says. We have our souls, our lights, our hands, our gifts. We've got so much to offer. We may have been made to feel we haven't got a lot to offer. We certainly have. We got masses. So this is the gift, the present, the sacrifice. So can you see that? Well, let me lift that up, because it's such a beautiful card. I can never, I've got to get this camera to go the right way. So unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it's time for something to be given and given up for the sake of the bigger picture, if nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will. Take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. There cannot be a clearer message, people. Our generosity, the donation of our time, of our hearts, our minds, our bodies, even our action, the volunteering, giving without expectation, that is. And the message isn't clearer, can't be clearer. This is a huge, huge reset we are going through. Yeah, on the bottom, we need to be the empty vessels. We need to be able to fill up, Mother Earth, the feminine. There's something powerful going on, people. And if we don't offer ourselves up to it, we're going to get lost in the quagmire as this justice works out. Because justice is coming. There is a rebalancing of the scales. That is what is happening. That's the prophecy stone. Rebalancing of the scales, okay? It is huge astrologically, 2026. We are in difficult times. We are in so many people struggling, so much hardship, so much injustice. We'll show you those again. That injustice, it's not going to remain. And I don't think we've seen anything yet on the disclosures, revelations. I think it's going to be beyond our imagination what has been going on. But I also think I'm a firm believer in the pendulum, and what swings one way will swing back. Okay. And the as above, so below. What's going on in the stars is really reflected down here. So reflected. Major, major changes this year, astrologically. As above, so below. It's going to be reflected down here. And as within, so without. What's within us? What's in our collective consciousness that we need to work individually on so that we can have this beautiful strategy to nurture, to care for the most vulnerable, to move our world away from what it's been. This is messages of the dark moon, people. I will see you in the next one. Monday, there will be eclipse astrology with horoscopes. So I'll see you in that one if you're into the astrology. All right, bye-bye for now.